To what extent does the availability of unrated video games affect a young audience? Video game phenomena can and often does globalize a game's reach, making player bases transcend age and appeal to more global audiences. With how accessible video games are to everyone due to the popularity of the internet, children are often drawn to video games, even ones with intended audiences of a much older age. Not only does this make video game developers a lot of money, but it can also give an enormous amount of exposure to video games that may not be best suited for children, as video games can and often do carry themes and content inappropriate for these younger audiences. With violence-reliant games such as Fortnite being prevalent lately, the issue of the irrelevancy of age ratings in games and how inappropriate games can influence children is more relevant than ever. The position that Epic Games' Fortnite is in is very unique. The game has been sparking controversy of late due to its cartoonish graphics, violent nature, and the online accessibility of it, allowing you to play with strangers all around the world. Because of this, even if the graphics and gore aren't an immediate cause for alarm, some of the culture should be. Kids are very clearly being affected, and parents are worried. A late 2018 Psychology Today article reads, "Even if parents say it's time to stop, Fortnite can easily become a source of arguments and frustration for parents and kids." Whitton Primary School turned to sending letters to parents warning of the aggressive and violent nature of the game, warning that it was obsessive, making children more violent, and actually fueling bullying. So how are kids actually getting their hands on this game? The Entertainment Software Rating Board, or the ESRB, rated the game T for teen, which means primary schools shouldn't be worried about it at all. Well, unfortunately, this rating has become less and less important over the years, starting with its very conception, all the way back in It was one of the first household names in gaming and the most popular video game of 1993. But video games weren't advertised to a mainstream audience. The minority who played them played Doom, and as such, a stereotype was created for gamers, labelling them as violent. Multiple psychological experiments were conducted in the following years, attempting to link this aggressive behaviour with video games. Point is, you wouldn't want your 9-year-old getting their hands on a copy of Doom, mostly because of the sheer violence that it presented. On top of this, games like Doom were becoming rapidly infamous for these links to violence, with Columbine shooters Dylan Klebold and Eric Harris actually making a short film leading up to that shooting, reenacting the level of Doom. Klebold, in his journal, commented that the shooting would be just like a level, and that his dad's shotgun was straight out of the game. In reaction to this, Craig Anderson from the University of Missouri-Columbia and Karen Dill of Lenorine College in Iowa conducted a study. They questioned 227 students on their aggression, asking them to self-report on behaviours such as delinquency, vandalism, and so on, and also report on their video gaming habits. We found that students who reported playing more violent games in junior and high school engaged in more aggressive behaviour, Dr. Anderson said. Up until around 2004, all games were physical media. To purchase a copy of a game, a customer would have to walk into a game store, bring it up to the counter, and pay for it, same as any movie or magazine. Despite this, games did not have a generalised rating system, and so anyone could buy anything. And with infamous instances like the ones mentioned, it was clear that something had to be done about the glaring issue of unrated games being available to everyone. This is when Senators Joe Lieberman and Herb Kohl decided to take action, holding a Senate hearing questioning the violent content of video games, where it was exposed to the wider public just how violent these games could be. After the hearing, the conclusion was that there had to be a way to rate these games, just like movies, and the ESRB was introduced. A way to rate games on their intended audience and prevent younger players from the likes of Doom. The integration of the ESRB was the optimal solution for this time period. While the ESRB wasn't actually tasked for implementing hard age ratings onto games, they provided a platform from which parents and stores could determine who and who should not be playing these games and enforce them. Game stores such as GameStop started integrating their own limits using the ESRB as a guide, and soon enough you were having to provide ID to buy mature games. But this all started changing with the birth of digital purchases, and especially with the birth of
Had to do it to him. Shawty said she liked the way I default dance. Saw my scar and said she wanted it in my pants.
Due to a combination of the game's marketing towards children and the boundless accessibility of the game to children, It should be no surprise that Fortnite's audience is just that. The developers, Epic Games, certainly know their audience and pander to them. Fortnite was and still is acknowledged as the kids' game. The ESRB rated it T for teen, but the issue arises in the usefulness and effectiveness of this rating in this day and age. Now, physical game stores still must enforce this, have the ESRB rating on the cover, tell you about it at the desk, but Fortnite isn't purchased from physical game stores. Fortnite has placed itself into a new, unenforceable position by making it an online purchase and completely free. No need to go out and buy the game or even borrow your mum's credit card if you can download the game at the tap of a button from anywhere in the world. Fortnite is installed online through the Epic Games program, which has no legal requirement to even display an ESRB rating, let alone enforce it. There are no barriers or age limits enforced in any medium except for parent intervention, making Fortnite available to virtually anyone who wants to play, irregardless of age. This has been an issue ever since the implementation of digital purchases, with parental permission being required to pay for games, but no way to prove your age. If a game like Doom was to become free to play, there would be nothing to stop children from downloading and playing it. We're back to facing problems from 1992, and if schools have to get involved to stop children from being exposed to this game, then there is a problem. In other online gaming hubs like Steam or Origin, age ratings are required, but easily bypassed. These sites ask you to input your age, but can be easily lied to with no consequences at all, not requiring any verification. So the question is, why don't online purchases just get stricter? The answer is a combination of they can't and they won't. A poll conducted on the official Fortnite subreddit revealed that 19% of Fortnite's player base admitted to being under 12 years of age, with another 24% being under 18. Enforcing the 14 plus teen ESRB rating would be a huge blow to the profits of the game, removing at least 25% of players in the blink of an eye, a move that developers understandably are trying to avoid. But alongside this, enforcing it would be unrealistic. The fact of the matter is you can't show your computer ID, which makes these downloads so shockingly universal. So on whom is the onus for preventing children from irresponsibly gaming? With the enforcement of the ESRB being reduced to a bare minimum, the responsibility is currently on parents. Parents now have to remain more vigilant than ever on what their children are playing, why their children are playing it, and how it could affect them. The rating systems are not dysfunctional, just unused, and they're more important than ever. Parents now need to investigate the ESRB rating on games, look into what they contain, and make their decisions based on what they think is right for their child. When it comes down to it, parents can no longer trust providers to censor their child's content. With 2019 alone marking the release of Active Shooter, a school shooting simulation, and Agony, a game set in the pits of hell with extreme violence and sex scenes, who knows, maybe there will be a resurgence of enforcement of age ratings. But for now, this issue of availability is more prevalent than ever. And it's up to you to start the conversation with your children and make video gaming a safe and comfortable experience for them.